Namaste. Welcome to this session on chakra explorations. Today we're going to hear about Vishuddhi Chakra. The Sanskrit word Vishuddhi means purification. Therefore, this chakra is usually translated as the purification center. It is the center that purifies and harmonizes all opposites. Vishuddhi is often called the center of nectar because it is the level of being where poison and nectar, good and bad, etc., are united into a common experience of bliss. Vishuddhi location point is situated in the spine directly behind the throat pit, and the kshetram or trigger point is in the throat where the thyroid gland is situated. Awakening of Vishuddhi Chakra is responsible for the maintenance of health, youth, and longevity. When Vishuddhi is functioning, degenerated tissues become rejuvenated and disease will not manifest. Vishuddhi is the center where one is ready to accept the world for what it is, taking the good with the bad. The nectar and the poison are both consumed, and there is no ill effect from the poison. One will be able to perceive the sense and intelligence behind all happenings, and will be able to flow with the current of life. One becomes compassionate, peaceful, and full of bliss. It is said that a person who has activated Vishuddhi Chakra knows all the scriptures without even needing to read them. The tattva of this chakra is ether, akash, or space. Vishuddhi is closely related to the sense of hearing, and the karmandriya, or organ of action, is the vocal cords, the voice. The chakra of purification symbolizes the level of understanding at which we start to realize the importance of purification on all levels, that the quality of our life depends on a healthy body, harmonious emotions, and a clear, uncomplicated mind. Knowing this, we start to detoxify our body by eating a more sensible diet, with occasional indulgences, and actively work on ourselves to be free of emotional blockages and dogmatic thinking by practicing yoga or other health and life-enhancing systems. A body which is reasonably free of toxins is able to catalyze the more profound energies of the higher chakras. As the emotions and mind become harmonious and calmer, there is a sense of spaciousness. This allows us to commune with the deeper levels of our being, and thereby enables us to communicate with others more effectively. Therefore, this chakra is also known as the communication chakra. As our contact with the Vishuddhi deepens, we develop the capacity to communicate more powerfully on all levels, verbally, intellectually, aesthetically through music, etc., and psychically, for example, telepathically. The ego state of Vishuddhi Chakra is I aspire to health and harmony, and I communicate. Signs of a balanced Vishuddhi are, despite its ups and downs and its problems, we feel contented with life. We take full responsibility for our health by actively engaging in eating good, nourishing food and living in a way that is conducive to harmony. Clear communication, as well as the capacity to communicate deeper truths that have been realized, creativity. Life becomes a process of expressing deeper understanding. We tend to have a resonant voice, become a good listener, and have a good sense of rhythm. Vishuddhi represents a state of openness in which life is regarded as the provider of experiences that lead to greater understanding. One ceases to continually avoid the unpleasant aspects of life and seek the pleasant. Instead, there is a flowing with life, allowing things to happen in a way that they must. Both poison and nectar are consumed in Vishuddhi Chakra, and they are understood to be but parts of a greater cosmic whole. Proper understanding and true discrimination dawn out of this equal acceptance of the dualities and polarities of life. The more abstract aspects of Vishuddhi is the faculty of higher discrimination. Hence, any communication received telepathically can be tested here for its correctness and accuracy. Similarly, Vishuddhi allows us to differentiate between realization coming into our consciousness from the higher levels of knowledge and the mere babblings of our unconscious mind and wishful thinking. Vishuddhi Chakra is often treated as an insignificant chakra in the scheme of Kundalini Yoga. People are more concerned with Muladhara, Anahat, and Ajna, and therefore the significance of Vishuddhi is easily disregarded. In fact, the reverse attitude may even be more appropriate. By meditating on Vishuddhi Chakra, the mind becomes pure like the Akasha, clear space, like a great sage, eloquent and wise, and enjoys uninterrupted peace of mind. Amrit can be felt as a cold fluid flowing into the chakra, and the aspirant becomes free from disease and sorrow. He or she is compassionate, full of bliss, and long-lived. Nectar and poison. In the Tantric scriptures, it is said that within Bindu, at the top back of the head, the moon is secreting a vital fluid or essence known as nectar. This transcendental fluid drips down into the individual consciousness from Bindu. Bindu can be regarded in this context as the center or passage through which the individuality emerges from cosmic consciousness in Sahasrara. This divine fluid has many names. In English, it can be termed as ambrosia, the nectar of the gods. It is also known as Amrit, the nectar of immortality. In the Vedas, it is known as Soma, and in the Tantras, it is referred to as Madhya, divine wine. Many of the great Sufi poets refer to the sweet wine which brings instant intoxication. The same symbolism is contained in the Christian rituals, where wine is consecrated and sacramentally imbibed. In fact, every religious system and mystical tradition concerned with awakening higher consciousness has its own symbolism for the unspeakable and indescribable feeling of bliss. Between Bindu and Vishuddhi chakras, there is another smaller psychic center known as Lalana chakra or Talumula, and it is closely related to Vishuddhi chakra. When the nectar trickles down from Bindu, it is stored in Lalana. This center is like a glandular reservoir situated in the back of the nasal pharynx, the inner cavity above and beyond the soft palate, into which the nasal passages open. When you perform Kechari Mudra, you are attempting to turn the tongue up and backwards into this cavity to stimulate the flow of nectar. Although this fluid is known as ambrosia, it actually has a dual nature which can act as poison as well as nectar. When it is produced in Bindu and stored in Lalana, it remains undifferentiated, neither poison nor nectar. As long as Vishuddhi Chakra remains inactive, this fluid runs downward unimpeded to be consumed in the fire of Manipura, resulting in the processes of decay, degeneration, and finally death in the body's tissues. However, by certain practices such as Khechri Mudra, the ambrosia is secreted from Lalana and passes to Vishuddhi Chakra, the purifying and refining center. When Vishuddhi is awakened, the divine fluid is retained and utilized, becoming the nectar of immortality. The secret of youth and regeneration of the body lies in the awakening of Vishuddhi Chakra. There's a wonderful story from the mythology of India which concerns the nectar and poison of Vishuddhi. It is said that in the primordial past, the Devas and Rakshasas, symbolizing the forces of good and evil, were continually fighting each other. Each was seeking to dominate and destroy the other. Eventually, Vishnu attempted to resolve the conflict. He suggested that they stir up the primordial ocean, representing the world and the mind, and said that they could divide the contents equally between them. This seemed a fair solution, and Vishnu's plan was agreed upon. The ocean was churned, and many things came up to the surface for sharing and distribution between the Devas and the Rakshasas. In all, 14 things arose, including the nectar of immortality, side by side with the worst poison. Of course, both the Devas and the Rakshasas wanted the nectar, but nobody wanted anything to do with the poison. Ultimately, only the Devas got the nectar, because if it had been given to the vicious Rakshasas, they would have become immortal. The poison could not even be discarded, for wherever it was thrown, it would cause harm. A great dilemma arose, and eventually Vishnu took the poison to Shiva to ask his advice. Shiva swallowed the poison in a single gulp. From that time onwards, one of the names of Lord Shiva has been Nilakanta, the blue-throated one, and he is often depicted in this way. This story signifies that even poison can be readily digested when Vishuddhi Chakra is awakened. It means that at higher levels of awareness, Vishuddhi and above, even the poisonous and negative aspects of existence become integrated into the total scheme of being. They are rendered powerless as concepts of good and bad fall away. At this state of awareness, the poisonous aspects and experiences of life are absorbed and transformed into a state of bliss. In this chakra, it is possible that not only internal poisons, but also external poisons can be neutralized and rendered ineffective. This is one of the siddhis associated with Vishuddhi Chakra, and many yogis have possessed this power. It depends on the awakening of the throat center and bindu in the brain. The potential of Vishuddhi. Vishuddhi is the center responsible for receiving thought vibrations from other people's minds. This actually occurs through a minor center which is closely connected with Vishuddhi. It acts somewhat like a transistor radio, tuning into a radio station, allowing the yogi to tune into the thoughts and feelings of people both close by and far away. The thought waves of others are also experienced elsewhere in the body, in other centers such as Manipura, but the actual reception center of thought waves and transmission is Vishuddhi. From Vishuddhi, they are relayed to the centers in the brain associated with the other chakras, and in this way they enter into the individual awareness. Associated with Vishuddhi is a particular nerve channel known as Kurma Nadi, the tortoise nadi, the tortoise pathway. When it is awakened, the practitioner is able to completely overcome the desire and necessity for food and drink. This capability has been demonstrated by many yogis in the past. Vishuddhi is actually the legendary fountain of youth. It is said that when Kundalini is in Vishuddhi, one enjoys eternal youth. When it awakens by the practices of Hatha Yoga, Kundalini, or Tantra, then a spontaneous physical rejuvenation begins to take place. There is a point in life, usually in the second or third decade, when the rate of degeneration of the cells of the body surpasses the rate of regeneration. It is from that point that decay, old age, disease, and death come to the fore in man's experience. In certain disease states, such as some forms of leukemia, the degenerative and destructive forces develop even more rapidly. The rejuvenation effected by Vishuddhi Chakra on the tissues, organs, and systems of the body is in contradistinction to this ongoing ageist process, which is man's normal condition. The rejuvenation effected by the Vishuddhi Chakra on the tissues, organs, and systems of the body is in contradistinction to this ongoing aging process, which is man's normal condition. The power attained through awakening Vishuddhi include imperishability, full knowledge of the scriptures, and also the knowledge of the past, present, and future. The sense of hearing becomes very sharp, but through the mind and not the ears. One frequently experiences shunyata, the void, and one overcomes all fear and attachment. One is then able to work freely in the world without being attached to the fruits of one's actions. Now, if you'd like to dwell on what you've been hearing, make yourself quite comfortable and spend a little time in contemplation, just letting the ideas and experiences flow in and out of your consciousness, seeing what comes up for you. And each time your mind goes off onto another topic, it's okay. Just keep bringing it back and enjoy this contemplation on the aspects of Vishuddhi Chakra. Until next time, Namaste.